Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Hot Rods by Doug. I appreciate you stopping by. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Doug, and on this channel, we work on hot rods and trucks. We go to car shows, and we just do a little traveling. We do a little bit of everything. So, welcome to the channel. We are back from Rod Run. It's been a couple weeks since we've been back. The 37 did absolutely amazing. Didn't give us no problems the whole time. You know, we even took tools with us just in case. It rode good going down, going back. Now Dad's down here going over some stuff on the car because him and Mom are going to drive it back down to Knoxville this weekend for the Street Rod Southeast Nationals. At least I think that's what it's called, but they're going to drive it down. I'm not able to go. I didn't make it down to Mini Nats either. I was hoping to make it to Mini Nats, but it just didn't work out with going to Rod Run. Next year is really going to suck because Rod Run is the same weekend as Mini Nats, if I check the dates right. So we'll probably be going to Mini Nats next spring instead of Rod Run, but who knows? We might be able to swing over. It's only about an hour away, or about an hour difference, so we might be able to swing over. But we are back out here in the garage, and we got the Suburban back in here once we got back. And I don't have a lot of time, but we're going to put this thing back up on the lift and start working on it again. I plan to finish getting it lowered and back on the road. There's not a whole lot wrong with it. I mean, I know I talked about before how the frame's got some rust spots on it, but it's kind of in the back. There's not that big of a deal, but you know, when you're on a crunch trying to get something done and little stuff just keeps going wrong, sometimes it's best to just shove it out of the garage, take a break from it. And that's exactly what happened to me. I just keep getting frustrated that things kept breaking, and we're having to spend money. So we just had to take a break from it, shove it out of the garage for a little bit and focus on some other stuff. But we are back on it. I hope to have it done here in the next couple weeks. We're going to put a notch in the back, wrap up, you know, put new brake lines on it. We'll have to do new wheel cylinders and stuff like that because none of that stuff's going to come apart. The front end is basically done. We just need to put the shocks on and new tie rods, and then the front will be good to go. So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and get this thing up on the lift, and we'll start pulling the wheels off of it, and then we'll go from there. You can kind of see here, this thing is super low. We ended up rolling this out a little bit, which this fender's got rust in it, so I'm not too concerned about it. Eventually we'll replace that fender. Eventually I'd like to put this whole thing on air ride, and we can fix some of the rust in the back. I know I've talked before about building a whole new frame for it, and I feel up to the task, but then again I don't feel up to the task. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff to get done, so I just, for now, for the rest of this year, we're just going to get it lowered. I've already located a cheap set of wheels on Marketplace, but I haven't messaged the guy or anything. I haven't picked them up or anything, but I'm thinking about maybe seeing about getting them here in the next couple weeks if you still got them. If not, no big deal. We'll just run the stock wheels until we find something, but I'm going to pull the front wheels off and see what we got left up there, and we'll pull the rear wheels off and see if I can't get some parts ordered today, and see if we can't get back out here again later this week, see if we can't get this thing put together. Alright guys, so it's the next day and we're back out here again, and we've already been working a little bit before I started filming. I got the boss with me, you know, old Knox over there, KW. He's supervising me, sleeping on the job, so. He still might be sleeping, I don't know. Try not to wake him up. Had the heater running. I'm over here making all sorts of noise. We have this side here about finished up. Sway bar links are in, shocks are in. Just waiting on the tie rods to be put on. Dad's been putting those together, getting ready to put those on, and then that side will be done. All we have to do on this side is trim the lower control arm for the shock and put the shock in, and then the same thing, put the tie rod ends in, and then this side will be done. The front will be 100% done. Hopefully we can get this front end done today, and then we can move on to the rear. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to put a notch in the rear yet. I was looking in here, and I know this is really close right now, but I thought about just putting air shocks on it and cutting this bracket off and then lifting it back up. But I don't know. I don't think it'll be as low as I'd like it to be. So I think we still have a possibility of cutting this and putting a notch in. I mean, we are going to cut these brackets off because it's sitting on it right now, but we want to finish up the front. I'm waiting on parts for the rear. We're waiting on new wheel cylinders, and we are waiting on another leaf spring bushing. I ordered one, but it was the wrong size. So we're just waiting on that. And then once that's on, we can do the brake lines, wheel cylinders, and then this thing will need to go to the muffler shop, because you guys know when I was getting ready to scrap it, I cut the catalytic converters off. So, and I wasn't very gentle about it. So we're gonna have to get new ones welded on, and then new O2 sensors put in, and then this thing will be done hopefully in the next couple weeks. And like I said, I've been eyeballing these wheels on Facebook Marketplace. I might go ahead and send the guy a message here soon, see maybe about picking them up. They're nothing big, they're nothing fancy, they're just something better than stock. So I think that's what we're gonna do, maybe, is check into those. Uh-oh, we're in trouble now. What you say, buddy? Here, put that passy back in. Take another nap. No? You don't want passy? Well, you just hang out there a little bit longer, okay? Not too happy, are ya? Anyways, we're gonna try to get back to get this front end finished up at least today. That way, when I get back out here again here in the next couple of days, I can finish up the rear end or start on the rear end. Then parts won't be here for another couple of days. So we might not get to it again until this weekend. I'm not sure. I just have to see when them parts are gonna be in, and we can go from there, I guess. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this front end up. All the cotter pins are in, tie rod ends are in, shocks are in. This thing is all good to go in the front. Just gonna need an alignment. I apologize for the noise in the back. It's Mickey Mouse. I'm trying to keep little guy calm just for a little bit longer. We're about to wrap it up for the day. Sorry I ain't been able to film a whole lot of it. Both sides are done, cotter pins are in. Like I said, just need to adjust it a little bit, tighten these sleeves down, grease everything, and the front end is ready to go back on the ground. So now we're gonna clean up for the day, and when I get back out here, I'm waiting on some parts. Probably won't be until the end of the week. We'll start on the back. We gotta put a new bushing in this, and then start figuring out what we're gonna do about putting a notch in it. If we're gonna put a notch in it, or if I'm just gonna cut this bracket out and put air shocks on it and just lift it up so it's not bottoming out. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do yet, but I guess I just gotta figure it out this week. Most likely we'll cut the bracket and then set the truck back down and see what kind of gap we have. If it drops down even farther, and if it's actually gonna need the notch, or if I can get away with air shocks, I don't know. I just really hate to get in there and start messing with the fuel lines, since we had such a problem with the brake lines. But I guess we'll just have to cross that bridge when we get there. I hope to have this thing done here in the next week or two. I really miss driving this thing. I can't wait to see it out on the ground. Welcome back, everybody. Back out here again, making progress. You can see we gone ahead and moved this axle back a little bit. So on those shackles, there's a hole on the bottom of it. I guess they're called shoes. I think these are called shoes. I'm not sure. But there's a hole that either goes forward or backwards. Well, on my dually, when we lowered it, the holes went backwards. When we did it on this one, the rear end was way off. So we had to flip them so they're going forwards. So now we got the rear end center again. And we got the new bushing put in, the leaf spring. So we finally got the right bushing put in. We have all the U-bolts tightened down. And we also got one of the brackets already cut off. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Chiseled and cut this end, and the other side unbolted, and I was actually surprised. Both sides unbolted. But now we just have to go on the other side and cut this bracket out. We'll cut it along here a little bit, and then we'll start prying this out and see if we can't get that pop rivet. There's a pop rivet up inside here. We'll see if we can't get that to break. And then we're gonna put the wheels and tires back on it, set it back on the ground, and see if the axle hits the bottom of the frame. I'm really not looking forward to putting a notch in it due to the fuel lines. I know I've said that numerous times in this video and past videos, but I'm thinking about just putting some air shocks on the back and we just bump the rear up a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to be running any big wheels on it right now. I found some 16s or 17s, some real 90 style billet wheels that would look good on here. For the time being, I just want something cool to drive this summer with the kids and everything, so I'm just trying to make this look better than it was. We still got a lot of other stuff that I want to do to it. It needs a new bumper. It's rusted out. We're also going to try to patch these holes over the summer. Definitely going to patch this one, put a new piece on, and then patch that one. As far as the rest of it, it's not too bad. There's a little rust spot on the bottom of that door. We'll just find pieces as we go through the summer, but the main part is to get it running and driving again, get it back down so we can get out and enjoy it, and we can do some of that stuff later on. We also want to get back on the Impala. We get it ready to go to Somerset in July. I think we're going to take it back down for the Summer Nights Cruise Truck Nationals. I would take the Suburban, but it's just not where I want it to be for something like that. So we're just going to roll the Impala down again and hopefully have a good time like we always do. So if you're thinking about being down at Summer Nights Cruise in July, we'll be there. You'll want to keep an eye out for the Impala. And you'll know it's mine if it's got the Hot Rods by Doug logo on the back. But I guess I'm going to get cutting on the other side, and we're going to go ahead and see if we can't get this thing wrapped up today. All right, we got them brackets cut off. We got the wheels back on, just temporary. I'm going to set it back down because we still have more. We have brake work to do in the rear. So I just want to set it back down and see how low it's going to be. I believe we're probably going to be putting air shocks on it because I don't feel like putting a notch in it for now. But I just want to see how much lower it's going to sit, if the rear end's actually going to sit on the rear end. I did pull the rear shocks off for now because they were bottomed out anyways. So I guess let's just see what it looks like. Well, there you have it. We are really tucking the tire in the rear now. But since we put shocks on the front end, the front actually raised up just a little bit, which is fine. So we'll probably end up putting air shocks on the rear because the rear frame is sitting on the axle. So we'll probably put air shocks on it to save us from putting a notch in it because there's really no point of putting a notch in it. I'd much rather put air shocks on it so I can bump it back up, and then maybe down the road we can get a hideaway hitch for it, because I'm thinking the next thing I'm going to do after we get done with the brakes and the suspension is putting my roll pan on. That bumper's rusted out, so that means we'll have to take the trailer hitch off, but for now that's fine. We can just put the roll pan on. I'd much rather have the roll pan on than the trailer hitch, because when I towed that S10 Blazer home with this thing, it was a little sketchy. I didn't like towing with it, and it could be because all the other bushings on this leaf springs are shot. So that could play a factor in it. I don't know, but we have the Dodge to haul stuff for right now. This thing is just a good family cruiser. But I think that's all about the time I got for this video. In the next video, I hope to be backing this thing out, taking it down to the muffler shop, and maybe even throwing another set of wheels on it. And we'll be ready to start cruising this thing for the summer. And we can fix this and that on the way, get it looking good for the rest of the year. And then who knows, maybe when wintertime comes, we'll come back and we'll put a bigger notch in it, and maybe we'll bag it or something, or maybe we'll find something else. I don't know. Time is something I don't have a lot of lately, so who knows. We still got other things going on. Like I said earlier about the Impala, we'll be taking it to Summer Nights Cruise, and then we got a couple other shows, some local shows I want to take you guys to, just to get you guys out of the shop more. I'm sure the shop videos aren't all that great, especially working on crap like this. So I appreciate everybody liking and subscribing. I appreciate everybody watching the rod run videos. Those turned out really good. I'm really happy with that. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, because you're not going to miss out on some more of the stuff we got going on. So you guys keep doing that. We're going to keep on hot rodding. See you guys. All right, well, we were supposed to end this video off, but I couldn't help myself. Pulled the hitch and the back bumper off. Now we'll come in here and we'll have to cut these brackets back, probably about to there, so that the roll pan can fit on. I'm sure my wife is probably going to be a little mad because I told her I was on my way, and I was like, hey, let's pull this off real quick. But sometimes you get in the mood and you just can't stop working. So, but now that's it. I'm out of here. See you guys in the next one.